Well, on the 286th edition of the WNBA 365 Network, now 14 shows away from 300, and for the first time in 80 shows. Good evening, WNBA and women's basketball fans, and welcome into a solo edition of the WNBA 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home for everything revolving around the WNBA and the rest of the women's basketball universe, folks. It is a one-man, 30-minute program tonight here on the latest and greatest edition of WNBA 365, Week 6 Central for Thursday night, June the 23rd, 2016. Good evening, folks. For the next half hour, Cal McClurg, your main host, will be joining you here solo here from Studio 171 in San Diego, California. Hopefully you folks had a great Thursday wherever you may have been, whether it was at the baseball field like I was today or if it was just a long day at the office. We'll get you caught up here on the one game in the WNBA, some important network updates as well, and also along with the Friday schedule of games. And as always, folks, Facebook and Twitter are wide open for you folks, so hit us up on our Facebook page at facebook.com/WNBA365 or hit any of us up on Twitter. It's at WNBA365, or in tonight's case, it's at CalMac3 with the hashtag WNBA365. Or if you're viewing us live right now, hit up the live viewing page. We'll get to your commentary, or I will try to get to your commentary when I give myself a break in the action. Of course, folks, a quick note for this evening. The entire panel but me is off this evening. Crystal is dealing with some personal stuff that she's going to be taking care of tomorrow morning. Shorty and Marquez also dealing with some stuff, perhaps in the NBA draft for all that I know. But everyone should be back tomorrow in the lineup for the Northlands. But instead, I'll be playing center of attention for you folks this evening here for the next 29 minutes and change. With that, though, folks, I'll get to the only game on the WNBA schedule this evening. It was the latest and greatest battle of the Alamo, you can sort of say, between the Stars and Wings, the battle for Texas bragging rights this evening, with the Wings winning their fourth in a row and again winning in overtime fashion over San Antonio this time, 97-90. Final line score in the game for the Stars across the four quarters in the overtime period: 16 in the first, 18 in the second, 27 in the third, and 22 in the fourth, and a total of 7 in the fifth/overtime period for their game total of 90 points. For the Dallas Wings, 22 in the first, 28 in the second, 16 in the third, and 17 in the fourth, but 14 big points in the overtime period for the 97-90 victory. For the Stars, by the box score, Derica Hamby and Kayla McBride, 18 points, Kayla Alexander with 13, Mariah Jefferson with 11, Mo Curdy with 10, Sydney Colson with 9, Astor Nador with 5, Jana Pell-Marinelli with 4, Haley Peters with 2, and Alex Montgomery and Frida Eldbrink held scoreless tonight. Both of them played between 3 and 5 minutes. And the lone player that did not play tonight for the Stars was Jasmine Guathme, again a DNP coach's decision. For the Dallas Wings, Pleenette Pearson, 21 points. Leading the way for Dallas this evening, Skylar Diggins with 19. Also with 19 was Odyssey Sims. Karima Christmas with 17. Glory Johnson with 11. Jordan Hooper with 6. Aaron Phillips and Teresa Plaisance with 2 each. Courtney Paris, Ariel Powers, and Ruth Hamlin both held, all three held scoreless. Paris did play a chunk of minutes, though, at 12:28. Powers 11:20, and Hamlin garbage time 1:47 for her, and Brianna Kessel, the only player held out of the game tonight for the Dallas Wings. The game played from the College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. Total attendance this evening, 4,027. Time of the game, 2 hours and 18 minutes. The referees were Tom Nunez, Byron Jarrett, and Tiara Cruz. No inactive players and no text issued to the game. 4 lead changes and 7 times the game was tied. We did have a few comments for the game from Todd Mintz on our Facebook page in regards to this. His comments and dialogue from the game saying that Dallas won their 4th in a row over San Antonio. Pearson, player of the game, 21 points, at least 6 of those in the overtime session. Sims, Skylar, and Johnson, 11 and 11. All had effective games. Hamby was the best player for the Stars with 18, 7, and 2. Alexander had 13. Jefferson and McBride both showed tonight Valley from the field. A little more from them than they probably win this game. They came back from being down 15, but as usual, they came up short for various reasons. And again, you know, I know that we have really talked about this with this Stars team, folks, is how we've seen them battle from game to game. But again, there's one side of the ball, either the offensive side or the defensive side, where that burns their bridges. It's either missed layups in big situations, as we saw when they first played Los Angeles earlier this year, again, they took the Sparks to the brink again, got tied in that game, and again, could never really go ahead, or were always battling and being down by big deficits. But again, I know that we've really harped and really have pumped the tires up on Hamby and McBride and Jefferson lately for the Stars. But again, they're going to need to get more production, though, out of more than just those three players if they want to have any type of success. And also Todd chimed in, too, saying in regards to this, again, more so about how Dan Hughes strikes again with total stupidity in regards to being in the pressure situation with being down 3 in the waning part of overtime, in regards to, perhaps some clock management. Now, again, clock management is also a really big thing, though, too, that that has also plagued the Stars, though, is that they have had really either poor execution down late in a game, or in some cases, though, the clock management for a lot of teams, but more so with San Antonio, again, the clock management has also been a problem, again, in regards to letting Skylar go free in the front court. Jefferson looks back at Hughes and saying, when do you want me to foul, in regards that, there's about 10 seconds left, and Hughes gives her the instruction to foul. Again, probably some bad clock management in regards to this case again. And that's also, as I would say, some growing pains for a young rookie like Jefferson, guarding a more elite, more established player in the league so far, again, with Diggins, again, who's, again, coming back from that ACL injury. But, again, also, that's a rookie mistake and blunder that I think can easily be corrected next time by Mo Jeff. And, again, it's not on her for losing this game in the overtime period, but, again, of how the Stars have just seemed to, that they've battled. I mean, there's no discounting that they have really battled in every game that they play, whether they've lost by a lot or have come up short in the end. But, that's probably a play, though, that might be a talking point about, though, is, again, some clock management problems in the overtime period in regards to, again, Hamby, again, waiting a bit too long perhaps to foul Diggins in the game. Again, what was a 3-point game, and those free throws put the game on ice. But, again, though, I still say, though, that in spite of Hamby being the star again, McBride struggling for a bit, 5 of 18 from the field, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, but made 6 free throws in the game, dished out 3 dimes, and had 9 boards. I mean, that's still a pretty decent game, I'd say. But again, at least for the Stars case, there's still one puzzle piece not fitting this puzzle. Now, again, I'm not sure if it's really in regards to Nador playing better than Appel Marinelli at the center position. There could be a lot of things. Again, Jane played 24 minutes, and Nador played 6:20. The game was also -10 in efficiency, which of course is not good by any means this evening. And again, also, as we said as well, but Jasmine Guathme also, again, held out of the game for a coach's decision. But again, more so, it's Hamby and McBride, the main two talking points for the Stars. But again, they continue to scuffle as they falter this evening. For Dallas tonight, it's not Diggins for once, but again, it's a veteran in Plannette Pearson, who I believe had a pretty good game, but also was the savior of this game in the overtime period. Again, had at least a good amount of her points in this overtime period. Skylar Diggins is really, for her coming back from a, sometimes a career-ending injury with that torn ACL, she has really played, played out of her mind lately for Dallas. And again, they are a red-hot team, 4th straight win. Pearson 21 points, and Diggins also with 19. And you're also kind of seeing, not like the, or seeing Diggins back to full stream, but also you're kind of seeing like the maturity level, I guess, of not just Diggins but Sims growing into a player and a leader. Johnson also coming back off her Princeton suspension, again 11 points. Again, still not back into full shape, but was the team leader in plus-minus efficiency at a +23. Diggins a +3, Pearson a +4, Sims maybe in -8. But again, Dallas, I think, is finally I think now they have Diggins back in place, Johnson back in place. This is now going to become a very scary team in a couple of more games. As soon as Diggins gets her legs back under her and Glojo gets back to 100%, that Dallas could be a wild card in the no value added, non-existent Western Conference, and maybe will make some noise later in the year. But again, lone game tonight, Wings over the Stars, 97-90 from the College Park Center. Total attendance today, 4,027. Todd Mintz echoed that statement, saying only 4,000. Unfortunately, hopefully that crowd will be growing sometime soon for the Dallas Wings down there in Arlington. Some other news, folks, before we get to the games for tomorrow. In regards to the WNBA, the Seattle Storm made an announcement earlier this morning here on Thursday that the Storm will officially retire the great Lauren Jackson's jersey in a special ceremony from Key Arena on July 15th at one of their upcoming home games, and that will become the first retired number in Seattle Storm franchise history. And ladies and gentlemen, July 15th, by the way, the Storm will be hosting the Mystics at 7 o'clock p.m. local time, 10 o'clock Eastern, for that special game. And folks, I mean, I know that we just had the 20 at 20 list come out of the 20 best players at the for the 20th anniversary of the season, and you know the list I thought was good, but again, Lauren Jackson has really, and still I think means a lot to the WNBA and also to the fans in Seattle of what she brought there when she was drafted to the Storm in the early 2000s. Again, brought a title there in 2004 and 2010. 2000 are both Ann Donovan and now LA Sparks head coach Brian Agler, and also of how she was kind of the the pioneer, you can kind of say, for international talent coming over to the WNBA again, with how we've seen a big influx of players coming over from either Japan or Australia, Europe, you name a lot of countries, and they have a lot of players coming over. And Lauren Jackson was kind of that spearhead that really started bringing some of these international players over to the WNBA, maybe even the late, great Hasha Zhang, who was playing for the LA Sparks in the early 90s. Even Margot Diedrich also, for one that played with Los Angeles and played with Connecticut for a bit. But Lauren Jackson had a really big impact, though I believe at least, on bringing the foreign talent from the other overseas leagues in the WNBA, or bringing them into the WNBA influx again, and what she's also meant to the Storm organization as a cornerstone of that franchise. Definitely deserving of her jersey being retired. Sue Bird will join her up there in a few years once her career is all said and done. But I think though that also that, in spite of the way that LJ went out, that she is remembered, I think, by a lot of us as a great competitor who can do so many things on the floor. I mean, he's so versatile, playing forward, playing center, whatever it may have been on a given night, and and of course bringing a lot of great crowds to the Key Arena in Seattle for many, many years. And of course, Lauren Jackson, of course, is still missed by a lot of us here, or a lot of us fans. But again, Lauren Jackson, congrats to you, LJ. Again, we'll have her number retired on July 15th at Key Arena during the game between the Mystics and Storm, July 15th, from the Key Arena. One quick comment and footnote from Todd Mintz in regards to the Dallas and Stars game. He says that Courtney Paris will have to play better for them to take that next step, but Dallas is indeed heating up in his mind. But again, Wings over the Stars, 97-90 this evening, the only game on the WNBA schedule this evening. That also, folks, reminds me, for our folks and friends in San Antonio, again, Becky Hammon will have her number retired this upcoming Saturday when the Stars host a game at AT&T Center on Saturday night, and of course the first 2,525 fans will be receiving a replica Becky Hammon T-shirt from the game at AT&T Center. Again, that is the upcoming Stars home game when we'll have our first of a couple of special games to honor some of the best talent in the WNBA. But again, to reiterate once more, again, Stars to retire Becky Hammon's number this upcoming Saturday, and as well, and following that as well, again, will be Lauren Jackson having her number retired as well, coming up as well on July 15th. Folks, getting back to the WNBA's top 20 at 20 list, brought to you by our good friends at Verizon Wireless. The list was unveiled on Tuesday morning, earlier on in the day, on Face to Face with Hannah Storm on the 7 a.m. local time edition of SportsCenter on ESPN. The top 20 list included Simone Augustus, Sue Bird, Swin Cash, Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Cappie Pondexter, Diana Taurasi, and Lindsay Whalen among the 9 players that were named to the list that are current players. The other 11 former players that were honorees included Cynthia Cooper-Dyke, Yolanda Griffith, Becky Hammon, Lauren Jackson, Lisa Leslie, Deanna Nolan, Teacha Panachero, Katie Smith, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and Teresa Witherspoon. And folks, I know that sometimes there's a wee bit of controversy. Sometimes, again, keyword here is sometimes, some minor controversy when they release these kind of lists. But I think, though, that as you think about this, that pretty much 14 of the 15 players that we had named on this list 5 years ago are on this list, with just one player coming in to fill the void. And that this list, I think, is pretty much 20 of the best cornerstones in trailblazers and pioneers for this league, again, that has seen its shares of ups and downs, and many, many other things, folks. And again, the top 20 list, I think, is just right where it is. Maybe one other player could have been. I know that they omitted some current players from the list, though, too. But again, congratulations again to Simone Augustus, Sue Bird, Swin Cash, Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Kathy Pondexter, Diana Taurasi, Lindsay Whalen, Cynthia Cooper-Dyke, Yolanda Griffith, Becky Hammond, Lauren Jackson, Lisa Leslie, Deanna Nolan, Teacha Panachero, Katie Smith, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and T. Spoon on being named to the top 20 list for this year release. Maybe we'll have some more names on the top 25 list when we have this again coming up in 2021. A couple more comments for this in regards to, from Todd Minsperson in regards to Lauren Jackson. He says she was likely the most dominant center in league history. Crystal Thomas chimes in and says, surprised Don Staley did not make that. Don was actually subbed out of this list, replaced by Swin Cash. That was the other player that was from the 15-player list that was changed out in this instance for this case. And also in regards to Todd Mintz, he's saying, let's hope that about 8,000 to 10,000 people show up for Becky's jersey retirement on Saturday night. That would be very nice to see, and hopefully those fans down there. I think in regards to what Becky has meant recently to the Spurs and Stars umbrella, of course, with her going out, after her playing days with San Antonio in 2014, after the playoff loss to Minnesota, then going right into coaching, getting the Spurs to the Summer League championship, and then also getting the NBA title that year over Miami. That there should be and there needs to be, but I think that there's going to be. I have a pretty good feeling, folks, that there's going to be a very good crowd on hand on Saturday for what Becky Hammond has really meant to both teams of the in regards to what she's meant to both teams, in regards to the Spurs with the winning on that side, and then, of course, with the Stars really putting that franchise on the map in that very magical run to the playoffs and to the finals in 2008, really I think would be a good sign or a good ticket for the fans in San Antonio to go ahead and attend to. But again, once more, congrats to all those players that were again named in the 2000 or the WNBA's top 20 at 20 list for the 2016 season. Again, we'll do this all again at the top of the for the league's 25th anniversary again in 2021, coming up again 5 years from now. So again, we'll hopefully have more good names to put on the list, and we'll be adding 5 more names to that list again coming up in a matter of years. Again, 5 years away from the next 20, or for the next celebration, you're going to be 25 at 25 coming up in 2021. A full menu of games on your WNBA schedule tomorrow, 4 of them to be exact, including the rematch of the now one-loss behemoths, in this case, but at least that's with the LA Sparks and Minnesota Lynx. But of course, the 4 games tomorrow: Mercury at Mystics at 4 o'clock. The game can be seen on WNBA League Pass, or for our friends in the DC area on the Monumental Sports Network. 4:30, Chicago visits the Liberty on League Pass or on MSG. Round 2, Sparks and Lynx fight. Round 2 for that matchup on NBA TV or Time Warner Cable Sports and the Time Warner Cable Deportes at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. And the late night matchup, Sun at Storm at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock on League Pass, or for our friends up in the Seattle area on Joe TV, Fox up there in the Seattle area. But again, Merc Mystics at 4, Sky Liberty 4:30, Sparks Lynx round 2, 5 o'clock, and Sun Storm 7 o'clock. Again, all those games can be seen on WNBA League Pass or on NBA TV as well. Folks, we actually had some clarification. Now, again, I know that, again, we had talked about kind of like the uproar about the game on Tuesday between the Sparks and Lynx in the Battle of Unbeaten Behemoths. But, folks, to reiterate the point again, what we had gathered from some of our great sources out there on social media, again, the Sparks declined the option to move the game on Tuesday from the 12:30 start time to 7 p.m. or 7:30. Again, due to this being a camp day game, the Sparks could not get out of their obligations or contract agreements with the local LA summer camps to move that game out of the 12:30 time slot. So, again, that was one problem, but also as well what we had to gather too. For anyone that may have had a problem too, trying to watch the game on League Pass. Again, folks, 9 times out of 10, a League Pass game will, or I should say, a ESPN2 game or NBA TV game will not be shown on League Pass sometimes. But the WNBA, and thanks to Doug Feinberg, by the way, too, from the Associated Press for letting us know again, the league reported today it was a problem and error on their end that they blacked the game out on the League Pass and WNBA app for the for that last game on Tuesday. So they actually regretted the error, but again, it was more of a problem on their end that they could not get the NBA TV feed onto the League Pass app or the WNBA app. So again, it was more of a issue or error on both the league's part and also on the Sparks part again for them not being able to move that game out of the 12:30 time slot that afternoon for that game. So a couple of things we wanted to clean up for you folks again, that the Sparks could not get out of their contract negotiations with the LA Summer Club's summer camps to move that game from 12:30 to 7 o'clock for television. And also the WNBA did also announce today via Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press again that all NBA TV games will be and should be available for you folks on the League Pass up for the remainder of the season. That was just one little bad apple that they had in the pot for you folks. This just to kind of clarify those quick headlines for you folks as well. Again, to revisit, folks, the 4-game schedule for tomorrow. Again, Merc and Mystics at 4 o'clock Pacific. 4:30 game, Sky and Liberty, Sparks and Lynx round 2 at 5, and Sun and Storm at 7. Going through my predictions for these 4 games, I'm sure we'll have some input from Todd and maybe Crystal perhaps for this. Beginning with the Phoenix Mercury and Mystics, and folks, I mean, I know that we have really pumped the brakes on the Phoenix Mercury. Again, the Mercury right now really scuffling. 4-9 on the year, have won 1 game in the conference so far. 4-3 non-conference, but 0-6 on the road this year. 4-6 at TSRA. 3-game skid for Phoenix. The Mystics, by the way, back to a level terms at 500, 3 in a row won, and back to 7-7, 2.5 games out of first place in the no value added Eastern Conference. But again, also have finally won their first 2 home games of the season as well. And the thing with Phoenix is, folks, is they have not won an away game yet. So this may be a chance for Phoenix to really kind of claw themselves back into the mix here. You know, and again, man, I mean. It's been one of those years for Phoenix where you're kind of scratching your head. I mean, I talked to Jess Garcia from the who operates the Dinah Taurasi's Fun page on Twitter while we were at dinner on Tuesday night down here in San Diego. It's been a head scratcher of a year for Phoenix. We really thought, a lot of us, I know everyone out there except for maybe Lynx fans, thought that this was going to be Phoenix's year to go back on top, get their fourth title, and kind of get their redemption for last season. But it's not been that case. We talked about locker room disconnect. We've talked about foul trouble. We've talked about lapses on defense. I think we talked about every single talking point on this program for at least for every game so far that Phoenix has lost. That we've talked about some type of talking point. But I think, though, that this is the best chance for them to really get that road record back up and out of the goose egg or chocolate chip bagel on that left side again, that 0-6 start on the road this year. And now that Washington is kind of playing better and also won their first 2 home games, I mean, this game, folks, really is a tale of 2 teams that either can't win at home or can't win a game on the road. But in this case, give me an X. I mean, I think that they finally will end this 6-game skid on the road, so I'll take Phoenix. Won't be a lot, though, because the Mystics have played really improved, really more inspired basketball at home, but still, I'm going to give me an X. I'm going to go with the Mercury, that they'll snap this 6-game skid on the road and get back on track here and win their 5th game of the year. So I got the Mercury over the Mystics tomorrow from the Verizon Center. Sky and Liberty, folks, another game that could probably go either way. Chicago, as we said, though, they've kind of been a very up and down, a wee bit inconsistent. They're right now 6-7, 3 games back at the top spot. 4-2 inside the conference, but also 3-5 away from home, while being 3-2 at Allstate Arena, 5-5 in their last 10 played. They're on a 1-game win streak, while the Liberty hold down the fort in the East, 1 game up on Atlanta, 9-4, and 5 straight wins for the Liberty. But they are a dead 500, 3-3 at home, but they are 5-1 though in conference play. But this could be a game though that I think might be a bit of a trap for the Liberty. Again, they've won 5 straight, but also again, is anybody out there going to help out Tina Charles? Tina Charles and help out Sugar Rogers. I mean, if Charles has to, do it all again, Chicago with them kind of improving, I think, but also that with the Liberty still being 3-3 at home, Chicago could be a team that might win this game on the road. While they may be perhaps that Chicago could be a defensive liability, perhaps, and plus the Liberty do play well at home. I'm going to go with Chicago on this one. I got 2 away teams, but Chicago, I think, this is only because I'm not sure if anyone else on the Liberty can really step their game up and help out Tina Charles. If Tina Charles leads this, if Tina Charles leads this team in scoring again tomorrow night, and they win or lose, it's not going to mean much to me because again, no one has really helped out TC lately in most of these games. There may be some other players that maybe have, but more so for every game it's been TC and maybe someone else. But right now, it will give me Chicago to kind of solve their problems on defense right now, and they'll take one at the Garden tomorrow evening. From MSG. Back to the schedule for tomorrow's games. The next game, Sparks and Lynx round 2 from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Both teams put on an absolute clinic, but folks put on an absolute show for you fans out there on Tuesday. And you are probably, perhaps, at this point of the season, looking at your de facto WNBA finals with the new format. It could very well be the Sparks and Lynx in the WNBA finals as of right now. With how these two teams have just really have played solid basketball all season. Los Angeles, of course, took the L. Someone had to take that loss on Tuesday, and it was the Sparks taking it game and a half out of first place. The Lynx still 13-0, still off to that great start. But a remarkable, folks, 8-0 home record for the Lynx. But however, though, the Sparks are still unbeaten, 6-0 at home. And I'm sticking with my guns, folks. I'm going to go with the series split here that I wanted that, of course, we picked LA to win on Tuesday. We'll flip-flop here. We'll go LA somehow winning at Target Center. I know that's been pretty much a house of horse for a lot of teams. It's been that haunted house for everybody in the WNBA in recent years. But with how LA really played that game, I know that it was maybe a couple free throws, maybe a lapse on defense that cost them. But LA really has been the lone team this year that's really held Minnesota in check and really played them all the way to the final horn. So I think that it carries over. It's going to be another great game, folks, that we'll be able to watch in primetime, luckily, this time. But I still think that LA grinds this game out. Something tells me that LA grinds this game out, and they will split that home-and-home series for the week this upcoming for tomorrow's game. And then the last game on the schedule, Sun and Storm from Key Arena, 7 o'clock, late-night tip tomorrow night. The Sun still struggling, folks, with the second worst record in the entire league, 3-10 on the season, 0-7 in their conference, and also 1-4 on the road. Seattle playing a little bit better, but still scuffling a bit, 2-5 or 2-4 at home, I should say. 9 full games back of first place in the no value-added Western Conference. 3-7 in their last 10 played, but they have though dropped 3 straight games. While the Sun picked up a W over the weekend over the Stars in very amazing fashion there from Mohegan Sun. But with Seattle, though, this is a game, though, as I've said, though, with two teams that are going to be back up there or that are going to be back in the mix very soon, though. But the Sun still working a lot of kinks out, either with the problems that they've had, either with the three-point shooting or just the lack of experience. Again, 1-4 on the road. The Storm not any better, though, 2-4 at home, but I'll take a home team this time. I'll go with the Storm winning at home by virtue of the fact that this game could go either way. But I think, though, that with the Storm maybe having more options, maybe even it's more depth that they probably have, but I'll go with the Storm winning this, so I'll take a home team for this one. Todd says in regards to Sparks and Lynx round 2, he says he feels the game is going to be is going to have higher scoring than the last game played on Tuesday as well. But again, to go through the games tomorrow before we sign off for the evening, but again, the games for tomorrow: Phoenix and Washington at 4 o'clock, Sky and Liberty 4:30, Sparks Lynx 5 o'clock, and Sunstorm 7 o'clock. All those game times Pacific Daylight Time. And we're in the picks here for the night are Phoenix, Chicago, LA, and Seattle, the 4 pick'ems for tomorrow's games, I should say. And also, folks, a quick program alert for you folks as well. Next Thursday, we will be having, again, our next upcoming edition of WNBA Host Eye View coming your way from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, California, when I'll be at the game next Thursday when the Sparks take on the Atlanta Dream. Game time set for 12:30. We'll have another Host Eye View takeover coming up next week. Todd and Crystal both go with Seattle. Todd says Storm will try to get their payback for CT for losing their last week. With that, though, folks, thanks for stopping by, joining us, and joining me at least here for the last half an hour up until tomorrow night, folks. Same bad time, but with the whole team back to work tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, late night Central here on WNBA 365. Till then, folks, have a great night and see you tomorrow. Till then, good night. Bye-bye.